Good morning. Would everyone please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by Nathan Howe. Gentlemen, please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. I thank Nathan Howe for the singing of our national anthem. I also thank the MCC Platte Valley Band for the wonderful music preceding this ceremony, and I'd like to thank them in advance for the recessional that they will perform. Welcome, distinguished guests, members of the State Board for the Community Colleges and Occupational Education, members of the Morgan Community College Advisory Council, faculty and staff, and members of the class of 2015. On behalf of the Colorado Community College System, I welcome you to this 43rd annual commencement for Morgan Community College. I'm Carrie Hart, President of Morgan Community College, and it is my pleasure to introduce our platform guests who will stand as I call their name. Dr. Russ Meyer is here today representing the State Board for Community Colleges and Occupational Education. Representing the MCC Advisory Council are Dr. Michelle Johnstone, Mary Zorn, Vice Chair of the MCC Advisory Council, and Carrie Linker Nation, Chair of the MCC Advisory Council. Representing the MCC Administration are Susan Clough, Vice President for Administration and Finance, Betty McKee, Vice President of Instruction, Kent Bauer, Vice President of Student Success and Registrar, Nancy Barden, Director of the Bennett Center, Valerie Rhodes, Director of the Burlington Center, Mary Anderson, Director of the Lyman Center, and Kelly Overturf, Director of the Ray Center. Congratulations to all of you in the graduating class of 2015. It is my privilege to be able to give you some welcome remarks this morning, and I could stand up here and give you an oratory about daring to dream, or about the importance of being committed to excellence, about the successes you will have in the future if you just persevere and put your talents and abilities to good use. Or I could give you cute advice like some graduation speakers do and tell you that if you're nice to your parents, they may give you a couple of grand. And I know every other speaker would advise you to wear sunscreen and floss your teeth every day. but I don't feel I need to give you some last-minute advice about being successful before you leave MCC. You've already proven that you have what it takes to be successful. And the reality is that life happens to all of us. All of you will have your moments of glory, and all of you will have your disappointments. So the question is, how do we find contentment with all of that life has to dish out to us? Let me share a story that was told to me by a Native American friend. It's really more of a philosophy of life than it is a story. There's a certain village where all the women put their hearts in your hand, and all the men are first-class hunters, every one of them. When the men of this Native American tribe go hunting, they never lose faith that they will come back with the food they need to survive. The men of this tribe are skilled hunters, and no one in this tribe ever questions their bravery, their skills, or their experience as a hunter. But at the end of the hunt, not everyone comes back with a trophy elk. One person may come back with an elk, and another may only come back with a rabbit. They know that on another hunt, the one who originally came back with the rabbit may come back with an elk, and the one who originally got the elk may only come back with the rabbit. Whatever happens in your life, whether you become rich, poor, sick, or healthy, sorry, I'm going to back up a minute. I didn't want to jump to the end of the story before I finished. The hunters find contentment in what they have been given on each specific hunt because they know that whatever food they have hunted, they respect this as a gift, and they understand and accept it, that it's all that they need at this time. Their needs may be different by the time of the next hunt. And this contentment without greed, envy, or jealousy for wanting more is what I think true success is all about. This is not a new way of looking at life, and it's not unique to the Native American cultures. This is a wisdom that's found in many sacred and philosophical writings. The birds of the air don't plant crops, but they find enough food to survive. The lilies of the field are given sun and water to grow and decorate the landscape in a bright array of colors. This is the miracle of nature. How much more does that apply to you? Each of you is a miracle, much more so than the birds of the air or the flowers of a garden. The wisdom is that we should not be anxious about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself if we just keep the faith that it will do so. And whether life gives us a rabbit or an elk at any given time, we can appreciate that it is what we need at that time. This is an unseen wisdom. And if there's one thing that I commend to you, it is to believe that all that is essential is unseen. And know that today we all believe in you. Whatever happens in your life, whether you become rich, poor, sick, or healthy, know that by being here at MCC, you touched our hearts. For that reason, you will always be in our hearts, and we will never stop believing in you. And that, my friends, is the MCC, in the MCC graduating class of 2015, is the whole reason that we're here. Congratulations. We're very proud of you. Will Dr. Ressmeyer please come forward to give his greeting?
Thank you, President Hart. I would like to thank President Hart for inviting me here today. I'm delighted to be here. It's the second time I've come to an MCC commencement, and I think they get better every time. But this is your day. We're here to celebrate you, not us, so I'll try to be brief and just say a few things. When you chose to make a community college a part of your lifelong education process, you joined the ranks of some of the most successful people America has ever known. Earlier in their educational journey, these successful men and women chose to turn to community college. The list of famous community college alumni includes Tom Hanks, Billy Crystal, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Halle Berry, Clint Eastwood. It also includes legends like Walt Disney, the executive director of the PBS NewsHour, Jim Lear, business tycoon Ross Perot, designer Calvin Klein, and closer to home, former Remax CEO Margaret Kelly, who grew up in Denver and grew Denver-based Remax into an international real estate network with over 100,000 agents in 95 nations. And finally, it includes former Mayor Wellington Webb, who this year was honored by the American Association of Community College as an Alumnus of the Year. Education is the first step in a long process of personal growth. Compassion, courage, and critical thinking will serve you well as you face the tough issues of the world today. You all came to this college at many different stages in life, and today, after hard work and sacrifice, long hours and sleepless nights, you walk across the stage having accomplished something no one can ever take away from you. Excuse me. Some of you will go on to four-year universities and some into the workforce. No matter where you go, treasure the gift you've given yourself while you were here, your education. Keep your eyes open to the world around you and always see in others what they are capable of being and becoming. Inspire those around you. Show them the good that can come from a great education. Show them, above all, that they can do it too. And since I was trained as a literary historian and spent about 35 years teaching literary history, I need to give you a little literary advice while I'm at it, okay? My favorite poem is a long 40,000-line poem called The Fairy Queen. It's about knights and exploits and dragons and all that terrible stuff. And one of the knights is a beautiful young woman, and when she's sent forth into the world on her quest, she's given a very short bit of advice, and it's the advice that I'll give you. Be bold, be bold, be bold, but be not too bold. On behalf of the State Board for Community Colleges and Occupational Education, I grant President Hart the authority to confer the appropriate degrees and certificates.
Thank you, Dr. Meyer. Will Dr. Michelle Johnstone please come forward to give her welcome address?
Well, good morning. This is an awesome day, isn't it? If you're excited to be here, can I hear an applause? Yes. All right. Well deserved, you guys. As I thought about what I would share, I reflected on my own path, so bear with me for a minute. Two words came to mind: fear and courage. I was one of those average high school students, got married out of high school, started my family, and didn't start college until my mid-20s. And I started at a community college. I was terrified to fail, terrified. I was the first in my family to actually go to college, so the stakes were really high. Do you remember your first assignment in community college, in your college path here, or your first exam? I can remember in anatomy and physiology getting through, and everything was going great. Whew, I could breathe, I could get through it. We're doing this. I got to my final exam, and I sat down the night before the exam after studying really hard for it, and I calculated what's the minimum I would need to pass this class. Anybody been there? Yeah, I figured, yeah. So, and really I didn't need to, but I was just that scared. I can also remember passing, more classes and the confidence that built. I even remember distinctly walking across the campus to my car and thinking, Johnstone, good job. You're doing that thing you're terrified to do, and that's go on and get your education. In addition to facing that fear, I also had this insatiable thirst to know more. So after successfully completing community college, I went on and got my 4-year degree, went, whew, that's good, that's down, that's over, and then started teaching and went, holy cow, I've got to get more education because I'm dealing with second language learners and I don't know what to do. So I went on and got my master's with a focus on linguistically diverse learners. And it took me a bit more courage to go for a doctorate because I had to say, okay, I need more motivation than writing Dr. and Mr. on my checkbook. So it took me about 4 years to get there. But I finally did step up and complete my doctorate. Each step, there was a newfound courage and an intense desire to know more, to continue to grow. But I have to tell you, I give full credit to my community college educators, who were the ones that inspired and lit the candle. It wasn't my public school. It was my community college that got me going. So let's talk about fear and courage for a moment. You guys, the science guys, go with me here. Nursing students, if they're in the audience. Some basic physiology from research. Fear is that chain reaction in the brain that starts with stress stimulus and ends with the release of chemicals that cause your racing heart, fast breath, energized muscles, also known as fight-flight. The stimulus can be a spider, a final exam, or even an auditorium full of people waiting to hear you speak. We know the brain is a profoundly complex organ, more than 100 billion nerve cells, comprise an intricate network of communication that's the starting point of everything we sense, think, and do. Some of the communications lead to conscious thought and actions, others entirely autonomic. We don't consciously trigger it or even know when it's happening until that autonomic response has run the course. Perhaps you've experienced this. The increase in heart rate, blood pressure going up, pupils dilate to get as much light in as possible, your skin constricts, and your muscles tense up, and you get those little things called goosebumps because your body's triggering that response too. It's hard to concentrate on the small things because your brain is so focused on the big picture to figure out where that threat's coming from. All of these physical responses are intended to help you survive the dangerous situation by preparing you to either run for your life or fight for your life. And let's talk about courage for a minute. Courage, simply defined, is the ability to do something you know is difficult. Courage comes when you understand the dangers, you feel the fear, and you find courage to do the right thing. A courageous person understands danger and chooses to overcome their fear and proceed to face the danger and act according to their values. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You must do the things that you think you cannot do. As evidenced by your presence here today, you've courageously started that first step, or those of you that are going to enter the workforce, you're ready to go. You have been extremely well prepared by Morgan Community College. My greatest hope for all of you is that you're inspired to continue learning and you face your fear head on. I only share with you an example of my own path because I know that by my path and I can do it, every single person in this room can go for it and do it. Congratulations on your accomplishment on behalf of MCC Advisory. We are extremely proud of you.
Thank you, Dr. Johnstone. At this time, I would like to call Roger Brownfield, a 2015 commencing graduate, to come to the stage and give a keynote address. Will Roger please come forward?
Good morning. Faculty, administrators, staff of MCC, good morning to you and thank you. Families, thank you for your support as you helped us get through the last 2 years as we were learning and are now finally graduating. I'm a little bit nervous, as you can probably tell, so please bear with me. I also suffered a brain injury, and I have troubles controlling my emotions sometimes, that autonomic response. So this is a little bit of stress, but I think I'll be okay. If I start to get teary, just bear with me, it'll pass, and I'll continue with the speech. And fellow graduates, of course, I'm so glad you're here. Congratulations. We should enjoy these moments. We should celebrate our accomplishments and our success. Those who think they're worthy of accomplishment and success generally enjoy more success and more accomplishments. So be proud of yourselves today and enjoy that moment. A few months ago, I was at MCC at the Bennett Center, and I spoke with Nancy. And she asked me if I would be willing to walk for the graduation. I said, of course. We're supposed to celebrate our accomplishments, right? So I'd be glad to walk. And then I thought about it. I also wanted to say a special thank you to Morgan Community College, and Nancy Barton in particular. This is her last graduation. She was a door opener for me. She helped me quite a bit. I'm an adult learner. I've been going to college for a long, long time. I've even received a previous associate's degree, but I needed a better transfer degree to go to Regis, which is where I'm attending now. And I had attended well over half a dozen colleges around the world as I traveled with the military. She helped compile my certificates and my stuff and evaluated it, and also then she developed a plan so that I could graduate. And I really was thankful to her for that, and I wanted to publicly thank her for that on her last graduation. Thank you, Nancy. I think, as most of us are aware, the bread and butter for Morgan Community College is the high school work and the programs. the college program that they have in the high schools. I've had kids as well. I also have grandchildren. But I've had kids that have gone to the MCC program. I think it is very beneficial. And I can tell that the graduates that I'm sitting with, not only is this the best looking group of people I've been with in about 30 years, this is, this is a smart group of people here, including the adult learners that I noticed in the crowd as well. These people took advantage of something, and that requires a certain degree of smartness, and they did that. So good on you guys. I'd like to start with a quote. I was looking online trying to get some, I wanted to speak, but I wanted to also speak intelligently, so I'm looking at these quotes trying to figure out what I'm going to say. And I came across one that made me think. You get some success. You run into some walls. It's how tenacious you are, how irrepressible, how ultimately optimistic and tenacious you are about it that will determine your success. And that is by Steve Ballmer. I learned this week also that the MCC mascot is the Roadrunner because it's a survivor. How appropriate. It made me think of a story that I learned earlier in my life about a friend that I had that had a blind dog. And he had this dog, and this dog was born to do two things. It was a Labrador. It was born to hunt, and it was born to love kids. She had puppies, and she also loved human babies. It was in her nature. It's how she was made. And as she got older, the dog became blind. And I was over at his house, and the dog was sitting by the back door, just wailing and just complaining and whining, and wouldn't give it up because the kids were in the backyard playing, and now she couldn't hunt anymore because she was blind. But she never forgot what she was born to do, which was to love children. So she was sitting there complaining, and I finally said to my friend, well, why don't we just let her out and see what happens? He says, oh, no, she can't go out. She can't go out. She'll run into things, and she'll get hurt. I said, we'll keep an eye. We'll keep an eye on the dog and make sure it's okay. And the dog just kept whining. So finally, we decided to go outside and allow the dog, and we keep an eye on the dog. And sure enough, the dog was much, much happier. But it would run, and it could tell where the kids were, with the nose and the ears. But it would run into the fence. It would run into the deck. It would run into the different things in the backyard. And the dog would she didn't care. She'd shake it off, and she'd follow the kids around. And I learned something from that. And now I know that we're people, and we have higher emotions and higher thought than dogs. So, and it's more complex than that. Sometimes to our benefit and sometimes to our detriment. But I also think that we can learn things by watching other things around us, like animals and dogs. We can learn some things about our own nature. And these are the things that I learned by watching this blind dog. We may face adversity. In fact, we probably will. But it's our response to that adversity and those problems that actually will determine our happiness and our success. We have to remember what we were born to do. That dog wasn't sitting at the door complaining, oh, I'm blind, I can't do anything. Oh, poor me, let me hang out by this door and not do what I'm supposed to do. No, the dog was complaining because there was an obstacle in the way that was keeping it from doing what it was born to do. Dogs don't spend a lot of time on their problems. They remember what they were born to do. It just wanted to get out there and do what it was supposed to be doing. I also learned that you have to get through the door. Sometimes you need people to help you get through the door. Morgan Community College was that door for me. Morgan Community College gave me hope and helped me remember what I'm supposed to be doing. Morgan Community College and education is that door, and I'm very thankful for that. We're supposed to be better people. We're going to make the world better. This generation of graduates, I have a feeling, is going to be some problem solvers. There are problems that we all may have to solve that are unlike problems from previous generations. You all will be those problem solvers. We will face adversity, but it's our attitude and our optimism that will help. As we go into the future and we face those problems, we have to remember what we were born to do. We have to remove the doors and help other people remove the doors so that they can get out and do the things that they were born to do. You'll be happier. We will all be happier if we remember and have that motivation to be the people we are supposed to be and to do what we were born to do. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Roger. That was great. That was very inspirational. At this time, I'd like to call Ignacio Gonzalez, a 2015 commencing graduate, to the stage to provide the final MCC student keynote address. Ignacio, will you please come forward?
Welcome, fellow students, faculty, staff, friends, family, and invited guests to the 2015 Morgan Community College Commencement Ceremony. Let me start by saying thank you to each and every one of you for being with us here today on this very special day. I'd like to also thank Google, Wikipedia, Facebook, never mind. To my fellow classmates, don't worry, there is a speech limit. I'm sure they'll cut me off after about 2 hours or so. When I think about where I started and where I am today, it's hard to believe that in just 2 years here at MCC, I have grown as a person and as a professional. I have met so many wonderful people and soon-to-be professionals. I met great staff and faculty and instructors that care for your education and for you as a person. I had the opportunity to build and strengthen my leadership skills. Through the Student Nurses Association, I had the opportunity to attend conventions and conferences statewide and nationwide. Never had I traveled so much before in the United States, and especially during college. I was able to discover the honky tonks down in Nashville, Tennessee last spring, the most beautiful walk through the woods in Portland, Oregon in the fall, and I enjoyed the 80+ degree weather, which would be nice right now, right? In Phoenix recently. Before I share what these experiences taught me, I'd like to go back just a few years. I had always thought about going into the medical field. At first, I wanted to become a doctor. And then I wanted to become a vet. But then I wanted to become a teacher. But the medical field kept calling my name. So I went on and got my CNA training, and then I discovered medical assisting. I was so excited. Blood, needles, wounds, even minor surgery. I was like, yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Well, it's not as much fun when you have to allow your classmates to draw your blood. Right, Laura? Soon after completing my program, I was employed at a small medicine clinic, family medicine. I worked with patients of all ages, and I really enjoyed working with them. But it was during this time that I began to have problems with my feet. I experienced a lot of pain. So eventually I went to go see my doctor, who referred me to a specialist. And the podiatrist diagnosed me with what is commonly referred to as hammer toes. We attempted different treatments, and they were all unsuccessful. He finally advised surgery. Well, Dad wasn't happy with that, so we went to go get a second opinion. But the second doctor also advised surgery. This would be my first surgery ever, and I was scared and nervous. I eventually went through with it. During my recovery, I remember the nurse state, "Doctor, he's not ready. We need to keep him." At that time, I had no idea what was going on, and I remember waking up for short periods of time. At one point, I turned and looked at my mom and I said, "I'm ready to go home." So the doctor said, "We'll get you going." Well, next time I opened my eyes, I was being admitted onto the med-surg floor. And my nurse was still with me as she explained that my oxygen saturation kept dropping to the low 80s. At my follow-up appointment, I discovered that it was she who noted that the medication that was given for pain was causing my breathing to slow and my oxygen to drop. It was then that I decided to apply to a nursing program. One day I walked into the Kersey post office. I ran into a high school friend. She asked me about my cast on my foot, and I told her about my surgery. So we then started talking about nursing school. She told me she had recently graduated as a nurse and advised that I check out MCC. My first words were, "Morgan has a college?" Followed by the, "And they have a nursing program?" She looked at me with a confused look and said, "Yeah, I went there." So I went home and I quickly researched this Morgan Community College. Little did I know that applying to the nursing program would give me some of the greatest experiences and opportunities as a nursing student. I'm sure that many of my classmates graduating today have heard these stories over and over. So instead of boring them with the same old stories, I'd like to recap them all into an acronym, because in nursing, we're all about acronyms, right? The END, which is ENDD, education, networking, dreaming, and doing. These experiences taught me about education. Obviously, we, scholars, as Lee Green would say, are all here today because we have worked towards earning our degrees and getting our money's worth, each in our designated field: nursing, radiology, automotive, and so on. Many of you will be entering your field as new graduates, and some of you will continue on with your education. Maybe a bachelor's, maybe a master's, why not a doctorate's? So never stop learning. Some of us may not be even thinking about school right now, especially after spending 2 years. I just ask that you consider advancing your career and obtaining a higher education. As you have heard, many people say, reach for the stars. Well, I say, reach further. Never let anyone or anything stop you from reaching your full potential. You made it this far, and I'm sure you're capable of going further. As Dory Duckworth once said, the one thing that no one ever can take away from you is your education. Networking. As I mentioned before, the Student Nurses Association gave me the opportunity to network with many other students and potential employers. So I encourage each one of you to join a professional association related to your field. This is one of the best ways to meet others in your profession and to meet potential employers and get to meet new opportunities. Some associations even offer free access to journals, newsletters, career placement assistance, and much more. Joining an association is not like joining the Spanish club when you're in high school. Although you will meet new friends and you will have fun, becoming a member of a professional association will increase your potential for being hired. This shows future employers that you have the initiative and the willingness to continue to learn. And then dreaming and doing. Through these years, I have learned about great pioneers, and especially in the nursing program. Clara Barton was a battlefield nurse who founded the American Red Cross. Mary Breckenridge was a founder of the Frontier Nursing Service who provided midwifery and infant health care to rural areas. Elizabeth Scanlon Trump was the first trauma nurse and co-founded the University of Maryland's Shock Trauma Center. So as you begin your career, look for ways that you can improve your profession. Who knows? One day you may be the next pioneer in your area of study. Many inventors began with a dream, and through many trials and errors, they succeeded. So you too are encouraged to dream and to do. We will all make mistakes at one time or another, but we should take these as learning experiences. In the words of Francis of Assisi, start by doing what is necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. Maya Angelou once said, my mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. So I say, find your passion, find your style, and go for it. Graduates, scholars, professionals, congratulations on your success. May you reach your full potential. May your education earned here at MCC take you to new horizons, and may you find happiness. In the words of Dr. Seuss, today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own. You know what you know. You are the guy who decides where to go. I'm proud to be here with you today to share this moment, and I'm proud to say that I am a graduate from Morgan Community College. Congratulations, we did it. I'd like to take just a few minutes to say just a few words in Spanish. Le quiero dar gracias a todas las familias que estuvieron con nosotros aquí, todas las amistades que nos acompañaron, y sobre todo quiero darle las gracias a las dos personas que son mi vida, que son mis ángeles, que son mis padres, el señor Ignacio González, la señora María González. Los quiero mucho. Gracias.
Thank you, Ignacio. You have a great story, and we're so glad that you chose MCC. At this time, we would like to present the degrees and certificates.
Would the candidates for graduation please stand? Members of the Colorado Community College System, Morgan Community College Advisory Council, family, friends, faculty, staff, and other guests, I am pleased to certify that these students have completed the necessary requirements to receive an associate degree or certificate. Please be seated, graduates, until the provost call you forward. Robert N. Dixon, Associate of Applied Science in Automotive Service Technology. Ignacio Gonzalez Gallegos, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing. Roger Dale Brownfield, Associate of Arts, magna cum laude. Carissa G. Edwards, Associate of Arts, Criminal Justice designation. Philip James Villarreal, Associate of Arts. Tiffany V. Romero, Associate of Applied Science in Radiology Technology. Jared Timothy Dewey, Associate of Applied Science in Radiology Technology. Michael L. Rowcliffe, Associate of Applied Science in Radiology Technology. Anna Marie Reyes, Associate of Arts, Early Childhood Education. Braden Montgomery Godin, Associate of Arts. Grayson Taylor Kim, Associate of Science. Stephanie Renee Brown, Associate of Applied Science in Physical Therapist Assistant. Joshua B. Gentry, Associate of Applied Science in Physical Therapist Assistant. John P. Kinnan, Associate of Applied Science and Physical Therapist Assistant, magna cum laude. Regina Joyce Romero, Associate of Applied Science and Medical Office Assistant. Naomi Zuniga, Associate of Applied Science and Medical Office Assistant. Kathleen Leah Wright, Associate of Applied Science and Medical Office Assistant. Jeanette Sumlin, Medical Office Clinical Assistant Certificate. Deborah A. Griggs, Associate of Applied Science and Medical Office Assistant. Jenny L. Perez, Associate of Applied Science and Medical Office Assistant. Judith Hernandez Robles, Associate of Applied Science and Medical Office Assistant. Maribel Ortega Santos, Associate of Applied Science and Medical Office Assistant. Monica Rivera, Associate of Applied Science and Medical Office Assistant. Corazon de Jesus Mendez, Associate of Applied Science and Medical Office Assistant. Cynthia Montes de Oca, Medical Office Clinical Assistant Certificate. Brenda E. Calvillo, Nurse Aide Certificate and Associate of Applied Science and Medical Office Assistant. Shelley K. Slapika, Practical Nursing Certificate. Kimberly Ann Nussbaum, Practical Nursing Certificate. Donna George, Practical Nursing Certificate. Stephanie Marie Enriquez, Practical Nursing Certificate. Alexis Mary Contreras, Associate of Arts. Alicia Ann Haran, Associate of Arts. Ruben Alexander Guzman, Associate of Science. Juhira Desiree Cano, Associate of Arts, Psychology designation. Dawn C. Schwinke, Associate of Applied Science in Business, Accounting emphasis, cum laude. Natalie Baria Gray, Associate of Applied Science in Business, Accounting emphasis. Teresa Angelina Mendoza, Associate of Applied Science in Business, Accounting emphasis. Melanie Christine Stuckey, Associate of Applied Science in Business Administration, Ag Business Management emphasis, and Associate of Applied Science in Business, Accounting emphasis, summa cum laude. Mindy Renee Vasquez, Massage Therapy Certificate. Rebecca Bertrang, Associate of General Studies and Associate of Arts. Lodina Marlene Weingart, Massage Therapy Certificate. Julie N. Fitzjohn, Massage Therapy Certificate. Gina M. Chard, Associate of Arts, Psychology Designation. Monica Lynn Rayburn, Associate of General Studies and Associate of Arts. Crystal Lynn Cooper, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing. Frances Jean Krob, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing. Linda Jane Hernandez, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing, cum laude. Brianna Ray Lopez, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing. Laura Anna Reyes, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing. Laura Liliana Valles, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing, cum laude. Carla Harris, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing, magna cum laude. Rebecca May Hess, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing, cum laude. Robin Jeanette Hindershot, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing, summa cum laude. Jordan Elizabeth Forche, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing. Brittany Nicole May Weimer, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing. Elizabeth K. Gardaki, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing, cum laude. Charlene Rianne Carrera, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing. Whitney Lee Peterson, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing, cum laude. Heidi Louise Gray, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing. Lori Ann Rose, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing, cum laude. Amanda Lee Borrow, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing. Jenny Lynn Borrow, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing. Melissa G. Chiara, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing, cum laude. Bokio Fomachak, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing. Kathy Jo Herrera, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing. Laura Porterfield, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing. Karen Ann York, Associate of Applied Science in Nursing. Michelle Ray Reeder, Associate of Arts, Associate of General Studies, and Associate of Arts Criminal Justice designation. Aaron Joshua Hortensio Cabahu, Associate of Arts. Anna N. Campuzano Sands, Associate of Arts. Philip Edward Decker, Associate of Arts. Nikki Sweetala, Foundations of Graphic Design Certificate, Foundations of Web Design Certificate, and Foundations of Video and Animation Certificate. Shania Elvina May Mock, Associate of Arts, magna cum laude. Heather Elizabeth Horton, Phlebotomy Technology Certificate. Kaylin Tanel Kradich, Phlebotomy Technology Certificate. Jessie Palma Villalobos, Associate of Applied Science in Automotive Service Technology. Juan Antonio Cardoza Avitia, Associate of Applied Science in Automotive Service Technology. Abdallah Ibrahim, Associate of Applied Science in Automotive Service Technology, summa cum laude. Auden Obed Ray, Associate of Applied Science in Automotive Service Technology. Derek Knox, Associate of Applied Science in Automotive Service Technology. Grady Michael Schomberger, Shielded Metal Arc Welding Certificate, Automotive Service Technology Certificate, and Associate of Applied Science in Automotive Service Technology. Anna Karen Silva Negrete, Associate of Applied Science in Automotive Refinish Technician, cum laude. Christian Alonso Garzalazo, Associate of Applied Science in Automotive Collision Technology, magna cum laude.
It's Eileen Evodia Abrego.
Eileen Evodia Abrego Ramos, Nurse Aide Certificate. I got that one. Henry Arden Weimer, Associate of Applied Science in Welding Technology, cum laude. Melissa Lane Waylert, Associate of Arts. Joe Paul Martinez, Associate of General Studies. Carlos Alfredo Montez, Shielded Metal Arc Welding Certificate and Associate of Applied Science in Welding Technology. Jason Allen Pickett, Shielded Metal Arc Welding Certificate and Gas Tungsten Arc Gas Metal Arc Welding Certificate. Ashley Nicole Overman, Associate of Arts, summa cum laude. Erin Elizabeth Zimbelman, Associate of Arts. Molly Alexis McGee, Associate of Arts. Jessica Taylor Beach, Associate of Science. Kylie Lynn Queisner, Associate of Science. Alicia Dawn Gherkin, Associate of Science, magna cum laude. Yoeli Chaparro, Associate of Arts, magna cum laude. Mackenzie Lynn Burrow, Associate of Science. Michael David Gradecki, Associate of Science. Logan J. Huser, Associate of Arts. Liesel Diamond Sims, Associate of Arts, magna cum laude. Allison Christine Crandall, Associate of Arts. Roger Metzger Hamaker, Associate of Arts. Raul Hurtado, Associate of Arts. Austin David Pope, Associate of Arts. Jessie Marie Bonds, Associate of Science. Sarah Louise Bowers, Associate of Arts. Cameron Lee Adams, Associate of Arts. Ethan Daniel Fritzler, Associate of Arts. Jody Lee Crittlebaugh Jr., Associate of Arts. Colette Barbara Forbes, Associate of Arts, magna cum laude.
Burden.
Mackenzie Ann Verdon, Associate of Arts, cum laude.
Selena. Selena?
Selena Renee Gordon Potter, Associate of Science. Daniel Dwight Warner, Associate of Arts.
Alexander.
Alexander Robert Anaya, Associate of Science.
Ivory.
Jessica Irie Miller, Associate of Science, summa cum laude. Jessica Anne Marie Johnson, Associate of Arts.
Mom, do you need a rubber band? You can read this first.
Then I'll get to it. Sean Michael Moeller, Associate of Science.
Chopin.
Quentin Allen Kopang, Associate of Science, cum laude.
Bobby.
Chandler Madison Bobby, Associate of Science, magna cum laude. Seth Ronnie Rodriguez, Associate of Science.
Kisting.
Zachary Michael Kisting, Associate of Science, cum laude.
Essex.
Nicholas Lawrence Essick, Associate of Science, summa cum laude. McKenna Suzanne Beam, Associate of Arts, summa cum laude. Julia Ann Saylor, Associate of Arts. Wesley Coro, Associate of Arts. Michaela Jean DeSalle, Associate of Arts. Sarah Elizabeth Railsback, Associate of Science. Sonia Isabella Lopez Martinez, Nurse Aid Certificate.
Will the candidates for graduation please rise? And now, to the class of 2015, upon the recommendation of the faculty of Morgan Community College and by the authority vested in me by the Colorado Community College system, I confer upon you the degree or certificate you have earned with all the rights, responsibilities, and privileges pertaining thereto. As a symbol of completing your academic requirements at Morgan Community College, you may now move your tassel to the left. Congratulations. Graduates, please be seated. And at this time, I would like to call our outstanding faculty member of the year, Bob Huber, to the stage to deliver the charge for our graduates.
Thanks, sir. I think I have some ex-students out there, I'm sure of it. All right, guys, good job. I got to say congratulations on your success here today. In particular, you had a plan, you stuck to it, you finished what you started. Getting a degree is a process, it's a series of steps, and it takes discipline to finish. And many people don't have that kind of discipline, but you proved that you do. You were committed to getting your degree and the benefits that come with it. And I was interested to find, I did a little research, according to the US Census Bureau, the benefits can be a little more significant than I thought. For example, your associate's degree, with it, you should earn about $500,000 more. That's more over your working life than someone with only a high school diploma. Now, I think that's pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised when I read that. Kind of makes me feel, and my fellow faculty too, that we're contributing to, you know, a better life for you. And you've earned it. And so I'm sure that's what you'll find. You'll go out and you will earn it. But some of you will earn more and some of you will earn less. It'll depend on that commitment and that determination that you show. But in addition to making more money, there's non-monetary benefits also. You should be healthier. You should be better citizens, and you should be more optimistic about life in general. This means your education will benefit not only you, but society in general. So we all thank you. But in order to make these benefits a reality, you must go out and apply what you learned here. That's the next step. That's the last step. Put your education to work. Apply your new skills to your new opportunities, and I know you have more than you had before. You have many more opportunities. Search for them, explore them. They're out there. Make it worth the price you paid, and I know you sacrificed. I really do. Every day when I was in class, I'd see my students, and I know what they had to go through. Kids and husbands and work, and oh my goodness. We appreciate it, we really do, and we know it. We all know it. But use that same determination and commitment, I could go off on a tangent with commitment, believe me I could, that got you here today, and go out and make yourself a better and a more fulfilling life. And in the words of Joseph Campbell, I don't know if you know who he is, but I think he's got a quote that it's been swimming around in my head. Follow your bliss. Follow your enthusiasm, follow your excitement. Don't settle for less. And this was an auspicious occasion, and it is an auspicious occasion, and I'm very happy to be part of it. So good luck, and congratulations again.
Thank you, Bob. You know, today would not happen if it wasn't for all of the support that all of you have received and all of the excellent instruction. And I would like to take just a moment to acknowledge all of those that were behind you to make sure that you got your degree or certificate today. So could I first of all have all of the MCC staff that provided student support in so many ways, please stand and be recognized. And all of you know that you wouldn't be here today if we didn't have such outstanding faculty that led you all the way through your courses, kept the standards high, but made sure that they did everything possible and gave you every opportunity to be successful. So would all the MCC faculty please stand? And finally, you would not be here if you didn't have the support at home with family, friends, relatives, all of those who are either friends or relatives of the graduates. Would you please stand and be recognized? And then I would like to give a special thanks, first of all, to our State Board representative, Dr. Russ Meyer. To the members of the MCC Advisory Council, Dr. Michelle Johnstone, Carrie Linker Nation, and Mary Zorn. And to the rest of the MCC Advisory Council, because I know we have a few members in the audience. So those of you that are on the MCC Advisory Council and didn't choose to be on stage, thank you very much. Members of the Morgan Community College Foundation. You can go ahead and applaud for the... In fact, if you're a student that received a scholarship, you need to give the foundation an extra round of applause. I'd like to also thank our faculty provosts, Kathy Frisbee, Jaylene Evans, and Todd Schneider. Thanks goes to our commencement organizers, Kenny Bauer and Connie Meese. And a special thanks to our parking attendants, the LCOR youth group. At this time, all of you in the audience, would you please remain seated until all the graduates have exited? And thank you everyone who came to support our MC students today.